Hello everybody and welcome back to the Unfan Podcast. It's been a week. It's been an entire week since the last episode of the podcast. It's been quite a while. Thank you very much for the continued support on the last one. This month so far, and the Christmas month, is going incredibly well with numbers and likes and all of that. If you continue dropping that like, that will be fantastic. Subscribe if you're new as well. We've got some very exciting things coming to the podcast, like the Christmas special, of course, coming very, very soon. You guys smashed the 10 likes on the last episode of the podcast. We're nearly on double that. So we're definitely doing the Christmas special. It's coming out on the 20th of December. Subscribe so you never miss that. Like this episode of the podcast as well. It's continuing to go upwards, and I'm really enjoying myself while I'm creating these podcasts as well. Anyway, though, today was Blackpool versus Oxford United, a difficult game, a game that we were going into knowing it was going to be a test, and it was a test. It's 0-0, finished 0-0 as a draw, but it was a bit more than that. It felt a little bit more than a 0-0 draw. It wasn't a stalemate in that sense. It wasn't a dull 0-0 draw. There was definitely chances for a win for both teams. And I think at the end, we probably had the best chance of the game. In the 90th minute, Massinho comes forward, the captain. He comes off the injured Rob Atkinson. Gutted, of course, he's going to get injured. We'll have some more information. He has been injured. We'll get some more information, hopefully, in the next few hours and days on that injury, to the extent of that injury, because he has been picking up quite a few injuries as of late, and so since he's been here this season, which is worrying because he does look like one of our best players we've had this season. So for him getting injured is continuing to be quite frustrating. But I mean, the actual game and the actual performance was quite good. I thought it was a 0-0 in which, when we think 0-0, when you think about 0-0, you think it is a dull, stalemate sort of game where nothing really happened. But like I said, there were chances for Oxford and Blackpool to take 3 points, for either of them really, and I think that's the most frustrating thing, and the frustrating thing being that we could have come out of this with 3 points if Massinho had. I don't think he could have done much better with that diving header in the 90th minute. I don't think he could have done anything more than he did, but you just feel like on another day that could have gone in, and on another day that could have been the points and the full 3 points that take us put us in a better position. I mean, elsewhere in League One, there's some crazy results. We see Shrewsbury beating Hull City at Hull, crazy, and you just think if you take points in those sort of games and you sneak a result and you sneak 3 points today. I just think if we had taken points earlier in the season, things like that, I think maybe those sort of points could have looked a little bit different, is what I'm trying to say. I think there's been a lot of points elsewhere that would have been very, very interesting if we'd got some more results when we were up there. If we were in a bit of a playoff battle race. I know we're not, and I know it's if, buts and maybes, but if we were up there's some crazy results out there that we definitely could have worked with. But because we are in a relegation battle, and that's the way it is, we are in a relegation battle, and every point is huge. We are seeing some teams go to some of the best teams in the league and beating them. There are some very strange results. So that's why today I think there could have been a potential opportunity where we could have got a pretty good result. And, we're coming in a very informed side. And Blackpool unbeaten in 4, haven't conceded a goal in 4. And we come here very, very in a difficult way. Now, we stay in the relegation zone. We don't move. We don't move out of the relegation zone. We're still in the relegation zone, 21st in the league. Only 1 point outside the relegation zone with a game in hand on Swindon and Bristol Rovers and Rochdale. No, just Swindon. But Rochdale, Bristol Rovers are also teams with 1 point more than us, 16 points. So if we, do play that one game more than Swindon do, who lost today, then we'll obviously could see ourselves going up to 16th, 17th place in the league, obviously with other results going our way. But in terms of the actual game, I thought Blackpool were a good side. We had chances. It was a very rough, difficult game to sort of play. It was quite a physical game in that sense. There's a few. I thought the referee, first of all, we do sort of talk about the referee quite a lot, and I think the referee had a decent game, to be honest with you. I think they had their chances, being Blackpool, but again, we had probably the best chance of the game coming right at the end. So it's so frustrating, and it is quite frustrating that we couldn't get more than a point. I do think we were sort of playing for the point a little bit, which is a little bit frustrating from a point of view. It is a little bit frustrating from that point of view that we couldn't take anything more than a point, and we were potentially playing for a point a little bit. But at the end of the day, you have to look at where Blackpool are. You have to look at what Blackpool are doing. in recent games, and they look like a really good side. They're 13th in the league, and they're only 6 points away from the playoffs with a game in hand in there as well. So they're a top side. They haven't started unbelievably, and they had a few dodgy results early on, but they've really picked themselves in those last 4 games. They've been tremendous. So I think we have to look back and look at the results of theirs and sort of take, I think, the result that we got today. We would have liked to have it more, like I keep saying, but at the end of the day, the football is a game in which it can literally go either way. It's fine margins, and I think that we did get caught with a few fine margins at the end. I think that last chance, 9 times out of 10 goes in the back of the net, but it wasn't really our day. I thought we defended quite well. I thought the defensive, the way that we have defended is much better than it has been in recent weeks. We've been sort of speaking about how we've had quite shaky defences, but it wasn't as shaky today. I don't think it was as bad today, and I think that's the importance. It didn't feel so shambolic defensively. It felt very, very, good, quite good defensively, and I thought we were quite solid. We didn't really let Blackpool have too much of a sniff. I mean, they hit like a really, really good strike, and they hit the post in the first half. They hit the bar in the second half with a deflected shot, but I think generally defending man for man, it looked okay. I still don't think it's the best of defending we've seen. I saw Ruffles struggling a little bit on that left hand side with their winger, the quick winger, beating him a few times. And I thought our man of the match was probably Sam Long, to be honest with you. I thought Sam Long had a great game today. Like I said, Rob Atkinson coming off injured is a big blow, because I think even him, every game he does it when he runs out of that defence. He looks like he causes a problem. He looks like he's going to cause a problem, and defenders don't really know how to deal with it. It's not like they've seen a centre-back run with the confidence and the way that Rob Atkinson runs. It's a bit of a shock factor, really, of, what is this defender doing? He's a centre-half. What's he doing here? And they can't tackle him, and he can pass the ball off, and like he has done, and like he did against Portsmouth when he passed that ball off and won a penalty. So him coming off, you do miss that you do miss it, and I think Massinho, you do lose a little bit of pace when you bring Massinho on, but all would have been forgiven by 10 times if he'd scored that last chance and won the game with that diving header. But I don't think Massinho had a bad game. I thought he was on for about half an hour, or whatever, at half an hour, 40 minutes, and I thought he did okay when he came on. He didn't really have to do anything unbelievable, but Sam Long was great today. I thought Sam Long was a fantastic player in that back line, and continuing to be one of the best players this season, probably up there with player of the season. He's my player of the season in my opinion so far, but I'd be interested to see what you guys think. But yeah, I thought the performance today, we saw Hansen come back into an Oxford League game for the first time in a while. Obviously, he played in the Tim Pot Trophy a few days ago, so he's back playing, and he came on as a substitute in today's game. So it's nice to see him back. No Sykes in the squad, no Clare in the squad. Frustrating in my opinion. I like Clare, I like Sykes. Clare as a right back worries me, but Clare as a winger, I'm sure can offer us something with the height, strength, and power, and the pace he offers. And Sykes as well. I like Sykes. I've always liked Sykes. I do agree with Carl Robinson to the extent of, I think he is a bit of a work in progress in terms of him as a player, but I think there is work to be done. But I think we can work with Sykes. I think Sykes could be the potential to be a really, really good player in the future. So, a little bit frustrating in that sense, but he's not in the squad today. Hansen takes his place in the squad. Hall was in the squad as well. He hasn't been in for a few games, so he's came on today, and I thought he did okay. Nearly that chance at the end as well when Shadipo had a good 1-2 with Hall and Shadipo, and sent Shadipo through, and he probably could have squared it again. So lots of chances that now you look back on as we go as the episode of the podcast rolls, as I talk about it, you find these more chances, and you find different aspects of the game that when you first hit record on the podcast, you don't always come to mind, but. No, I thought the result today was deserved. I'm still a bit of in that frame of mind of I would have liked to see us win this game. I think they're 13th in the league. I think it was a game in which if we really wanted to push on with this season, I think 3 points today would have done us the world of good. But then you look at the league table and you go, I think away from home, the form they're on, you take a point. I think that's the way it is. A clever, intelligent point of view would take a point, but a fan and a person that knows with the Oxford United ability in this squad is somebody that could maybe wish to get more of a point, more than a point, and gone on and win that game. We had the opportunity to win that game 2 or 3 times, so it is frustrating. But fair play to Blackpool. They looked good. They didn't look like a team that were going to be pushed over. They looked like a really, really good team. They had a strong defence, a strong midfield. They're winning the midfield battle for the majority of the game, which is, I think, a reason why Hansen came on, just to sort of shore up that defensive area. But yeah, we started with the starting lineup. If we talk through the players we actually started with, I mean, we have Obita starting. He came off in the 59th minute, and I know it was his birthday this week as well, John Obita. So happy birthday to you. But in terms of Obita, I've been I have been sort of told on a few occasions that I've been a little bit too harsh on Obita. I just think again today, and I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, and I'm not attacking him obviously in any way in terms of who he is as a player. Well, yeah, I'm not attacking him as a player, I'm not attacking him as a person. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, but in terms of what I think he offers for Oxford United at the moment, I just don't think it's good enough at this point. In my opinion, I think we could have been better off starting with Robbie Hall on the left, or Adji on the left, or even Shadipa on the left. I know Shadipa's been a little bit hit and miss. So is Adji, I guess. But I mean, I think we could have been better with playing with Hall or someone like that on that left. I know a lot of people say Jack, but Obita plays a little bit more defensive. I know Obita plays, does have us a little bit more defensive winger. He's not all about the pace. I just think today, if we had an extra bit of pace, we saw what the pace did when we brought him off the bench, and we made substitutes, quite positive substitutions. I think pace could have been the one today, and I think if we started with a little bit more pace and we started with a little bit more press in that sense, like we did against Hull, and like we did so well against Hull, when we pressed the ball, we looked very good. If we'd done that, I do think we could have had a really, really good game today, and I do think generally we could have done really, really well. Like I said, I think Obita has aspects to be a good player, but I just don't think yet he's finding that sort of momentum and rhythm of a player that fits this system. I think at times he is holding us back a little bit with the way we want to play. He's very different to what we've had. We've when we have to compare him to Nathan Holland, I know we can't compare the players, but I am going to. You compare him to Nathan Holland, Marcus Brown, the Henry that we've got in this team. Sykes, Hall, Adji, Shadipo, all these second options that we've had and still have got. You put Obita in that team and he just doesn't really fit the way that we're trying to play, because that front three doesn't shout pace, to be honest with you. I'm not saying pace is the only thing. It's not a video game. It's not, FIFA where you need pace to win games. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I think this game probably would have suited a bit more pace. I think this game probably would have suited a little bit more, a little bit more, I guess, power and pace going forward, which again I think is a reason why Sykes could have done well. And specifically when I mean power, I mean strength and pace. And Claire, very, very rare do you see a player with strength and pace that's really good at dribbling, really good on the ball, and can make things happen. And I think Shaw Clare can do that. I think as a right back, like I've said, I'm not going to be hypocritical. I was a person that was a little bit worried with playing Sean Clare as a right back, but I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's been suspended and he missed out the squad, and then he missed out the squad again today because Carlson said he's got to work his way back into the team. But I don't think that should be I don't think that's the reason, or a reason why he shouldn't be in the squad because he was suspended. I do think generally he hasn't been back in the squad because I think he wants to play Hansen. He wants to get Hansen on the bench, because he's our really only defensive option, and because he doesn't, and obviously he's upset Sykes. I think Carl Robinson has upset Sykes. I don't think Sykes is a happy man at the moment with him basically coming out publicly and speaking about it. So, speaking about him, I don't think he wants to play Sykes. I know he played him against Forest Green, or it was Forest Green, wasn't it, in the last game? But apparently looked quite good. I didn't watch the game, but apparently looked pretty decent. So him not playing surprises me. But at the end of the day, it's a 0-0 draw. It's a difficult game. Remember, leave your thoughts of the game down below as well. Remember, the Christmas tree's out. Everything's going to be excited and ready for the Christmas special coming very, very soon. Giveaways are coming on the Christmas special. So if you're still watching now, subscribe. There's giveaways on the Christmas special, including a roundup of 2020, the best moments, the worst moments, the craziest moments of the footballing world in 2020, tier list, all that good stuff, and giveaways. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode of the podcast, and that you don't miss the Christmas special coming on the 20th of December. Next Sunday, a week tomorrow, it's coming on the podcast, and I'll see you in a bit. Thank you very much for this episode of the podcast. I will see you in a bit. Subscribe so you never miss an episode of the podcast. Like as well, and I'll see you in a bit. See you later, people.